Hi, this is Guy in the Den, and today I'm providing you some tips on how to start your Roman Triumph city. You're gonna start on easy, and you can ramp up from there. And not easy because that's the only way you can play this game. That's not true. It's just that in order to show you the steps, in order to get to a break-even point, even with gold, yes, even gold. Now, what we're looking for is a good corner of the map that you can corner off with minimal amount of defenses needed. And that is because, as I have just played a game myself, I ended up with two Hydras year to year, on year 7 or 8. That's two large Hydras on year 7 and 8. That is kind of insane. Now, there are certain small mountains that you can completely remove if you want to. These large, I don't think so, but if they're relatively small, you can even them out. Now, this is interesting, but I kind of have a big, huge lake in the middle. That would be awesome because the only thing you need to do is maybe even just here. That one is interesting, but that huge lake would take a lot of real estate from you. Let's continue looking. We're looking for a good... That one is actually pretty good. That one is completely corner off here. That gives you plenty of being... Yeah, I like this one. So let's go ahead and again, don't ever build in the middle because that can come from anywhere. And we are going to have gods are patient, attacks are going to be very low, and highest immigration rate. Again, I'm just showing you the step, and then it's just a matter as you increase the difficulty to kind of adjust your gameplay accordingly. We're always going to use... Oh, Lord. There we go. Yeah, that's pretty good too. It requires a larger... And eventually I could probably corner in this to kind of like expand it out that way. Yeah, let's start from here instead. Now, there are two things you can look at, and you should always do that. So you can first look at a grid. This is where they all can travel over, so they can't pass over any here. Yeah, that one would be ideal if it would have been a little bit larger. But again, I can always corner out this entire area eventually. So they can't go over there. And yeah. And I could even potentially expand over here. Just slight little there. Actually, I should be able to raise the train, can I? Can I raise it to the point that it's blocked? That's an interesting strategy. Raising train until it's blocked. And here's the fertility. So the greener it is, the better. So here's ideal to build. And then out here, we're going to clear off and start getting stuff. Okay. So this little corner right here is going to have to be closer where I put all my houses. And then just build outward for everything else. Okay. So we are going to plop down our guy right here. Perfect. Da, 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 da. And we're off. Again, as I said, all of this is on a time. You can't play around with the idea that somehow you might not be attacked in a couple of days. So let's skip all those tutorials. So he's going to want me to build 2 houses as soon as possible. And you really want to build houses soon, all the time. That's just the way it is. Because you want to have as many people as possible in order to break even on when it comes to everything. So that is that. And then we want to have a Hunter's hut as soon as possible. That's pretty much the only food you're going to have for a while. Like, I'm going to have to clear out all of these pieces in order to start building out where I'm going to grow stuff. So that's important. But first, let's go with the hunter's hut. Let's see. Oh, look at that. That's a good... So here is where we can start having a hunter. And we also have this lake to get some water and fishing from. Fishing is also... It's a very expensive thing to put down because it requires gold, and I do believe there's a decent upkeep on it. But it's free food year-round, I think. Not free food, but you know what I mean. Oh, and as soon as possible, start clearing things out. And you want to clear out all of it. Don't hesitate. Just give the order. Because they just got to keep on working. Every extra person that you don't have doing something else is just going to start doing this. The more you clear out, the sooner you clear it out, the better for you. There you go. So, now you probably want to look into limitations. Wood carriers, no limitation. Builders. Let's start with a limitation of 8. There we go. And stone carriers, let's do a limitation of 4 to start out. Why do you want to do that? Because as you can see, this is based on a formula that you can adjust in this one. It's actually based on here, gathering settings. So 1 per 4 trees, 1 per 4 rocks. Okay. So it's an exponentially ginormous number. By limiting at least the builders and gatherers in the beginning, you will then have some people for the rest of it. So that's kind of sort of where you want to go. And you want to see a steady increase in everything. Let's go down to 2 for that. Because we need definitely wood as soon as possible. Again, you need to hurry up getting all those different features in place. Yeah, see, this one is shutting down because it didn't have anyone on wood. But they're getting there. Now, the really second thing that you want to do as quickly as possible is also get your stockpiles going. Very important. Why roads? Because they walk faster on roads. That's why. That's it. That's it. Now it takes some resources, but you don't have to go all ape nuts on it. There you go. And again, in the early game, you're not gonna have many things that requires gold, so that's good, except for research. You're gonna have to be careful with that. Food is going down, so now we're gonna start having to focus on food here. And I said that I wanted to kind of get the food going. So let's go get food going. 102%. That is okay. How about here? 103. So that's pretty decent. So while they're chopping everything down, let's at least start with a couple of these. Now, one thing that you also probably want to do as quickly as possible, get the temple researched. So again, we're just trying to barnstorm in here to make sure that we not only get the resources that can offer if you build out everything, but you have to get to where you want to do really quickly. Now, more domus. You're falling behind on building houses. You always want to be ahead of that. The more houses you have available, the less you have to struggle with that. And the more people you get, the quicker you can get your economy rolling. Okay, are we going net positive? Okay. You also want to start moving these, make sure that, I would say, have stone gatherers and hunters at the top, but builders right there. So these three in the bottom, and then everything else that's are vital that you're trying to do, like farmers and whatnot. You want to make sure that they're constantly getting fed people. They're happy, and they're happy. Now, one cheap way you can get your happiness up, because as you see here, the happier they are, the more productive they are. Right now, the productiveness is 80%, which means that's not good. You want to get it to 50 for neutral, I do believe. And 60, over 60, 65, then you start getting into net productive positive territory. This also affects taxation. Now, I do think that the taxation formula is broken. I tried to figure out exactly how they get to the numbers. The only way I could find out was that you get a percentage based on the building itself. So 1%. You get 1 gold per building of these small ones. And I think there's also a bug where the larger one, they call the what do they call that? A hospedium. So those are like a dual thing, but it also gives you supposedly 3 gold. I don't think that's the case. I think something is broken in the game, so you're not getting it. But I'm not entirely sure because of the fact that the happiness seems to be a boosting thing. So it's possible that somehow that reduces also the income that you're getting. So it's really weird how they do things. But yeah, whatever. There's something that I just, by experiment and doing things, that I figure out. So the sooner you can make people happy, the better. There are a couple of cheap ways of doing so. Like, for example, doing these. No upkeep, right? It's just a little park that you build. Yes, you use resources. And also, just telling you that right now, always have storage. Because the more storage you have, and yes, I know it sounds pretty common sense, right? The more you can store. Okay. I know that sounds corny to say it that way. But storage allows you to have the kind of overage, because your people just keep on working and providing things in the storage. So you having constant more storage means that when the crisis happen, and it will happen, like a Hydra coming in and start massacring your town, you do want to make sure that you have enough in storage in order to recuperate quickly. Rebuild all the things that's broken while it's taking that from the storage. Because if you don't have anything in storage, anything that has a maintenance cost will start shutting down. And when they start shutting down, that's pretty much game over. It's really hard to recover for something that is a total shutdown, because all the gods get pissed at you, all the people get pissed at you, and it's just a spiraling situation from there. That is not... You want to have it at least 100%. You want to start growing food on the worst spots. Now, the next step is that you need to get an academia. You really, 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 really need to get an academia pretty quickly. Because there are a couple of pivotal buildings that you need in order to improve things. Quarries, so you can start getting stone that way. That's just the best, most effective way of picking up stone. It's like 5 people that are giving you like 30 in stones every single quarry. And then you can boost the quarries too. So, bricks. And clay. Yeah, they want me to train people, but I don't want to do that. I'll start doing that, worry about that as soon as, because I need to start getting bricks, as you see. You don't want to build too many things either at the same time. That just means more builders. By keeping it fairly low key, you can build things a little bit faster. Now let's see what the distribution is here. Okay, so I'm starting to have a decent amount of that. Let's increase this to 6. Yeah, let's do 6 there. Now keep in mind, every person that you do something with is going to be taken from the overall labor pool. So if you have soldiers trained, then that's taken from the labor pool. And if you have, yeah, as you can see, now we're going low on wood. We have a deficit of 13. And that is because we don't have enough people on that. That's kind of like the struggle bus in the beginning. You sort of have to readjust thinking. And that's why it's so important to have storage, right? The more storage you have, the more you have for the good times when they start just pouring things into your storage. And then later on, you're going to have that overage for when you need to do like large projects. You're going to have the resources for it. Or when things go sideways, you're going to have resources for it. It's also one of the things that they will break first. Yeah. The barbarians and everything would go after your storage, and that will break pretty quickly. The sooner we can get that going, the sooner we can start going for the things that we need to do. Okay, Quintilius, year 0. We are going to get our first announcement around in October. Okay, congratulations. What? Because I hit 20? Yes, 20 in population. There we go. We also want to make sure that we get a taxation office as soon as possible. Believe it or not, that's going to be your only gold source. Right now, you'll get a little bit gold here and there for certain things. You can also look at trade. This is the only place that gives you gold, as you can see right there. And they will take a lot of different things from you. You don't ever want to trade something that you're having a hard supply that requires a lot of refinement. You don't want to do that. That takes more man hours for you to do, and you're going to be critically in need of that anyway. Only in the late... Oh! Only in the late... So this one... Just look at that brick. But they want gold and weapons. No way. And they want iron, tools, and cloth to give me stuff that I can do myself. Come on, man. It's like, why would I go all the way down here to give them refined stuff? Stones, maybe? For what? So the only thing that I can think of that is any good to have is actually... But right now they want wood. Well, let's see how bad that looks. Let's do gold. Oh, that allows a trade. And keep in mind, this takes about 2.5 months to arrive. Okay? So that's essentially for 30. Nah, I can't justify that. That exchange rate is just terrible. I need all the wood that I can get. It would be different if I like blasting out wood like crazy, especially if I had enough people. But that is just a trade. That's not gonna work. Yeah, as you see, I'm now going negative on the wood because I just don't have enough people. And I am getting very, 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 very close for the first invasion of 15 barbarians. Now they are going to try to go around me, and they are going to succeed in ways. Because you cannot afford putting up wasting wood to close off all these areas. Academia, that's an expensive one to have. It just is, because it takes so many people. But if you don't have it, you're kind of screwed. So we have an overage here now. That's a pretty decent, 150. We just need to make sure that, and we are losing on both rocks and that. And that is because I just need to get more people in. That's all. Okay, let's start here. Cabbage farm is good. It only takes one person. But it's kind of expensive, as you see, in order to get. Now, 5 wood, 5 stone, and 10 bricks. Yeah, that's good. Large food storage, you definitely want to go with that. But right now, I don't want to waste my little gold that I have on that. Fishing is very expensive, as you see. I don't know why fishing is so expensive, but it is. Housing, taxes. That's what you want to get as soon as possible. It's really good. This one is also good. I didn't realize that, but it actually covers a lot of area. It increases safety and security, I think it was, and happiness. So that's a good thing to have. And then large hospedium is what you want to get to as well. That can hold 20 people. It gives you a decent amount of gold. And it's a great way when you start building up in order to get as much gold as possible for it. Industry, stone mining. That is what we wanted to do. And that takes food. So that was a chunk of food that just came out of my pocket here. Now, there are also taverns and stuff to make these people happy, but we cannot afford doing taverns yet because it's just a resource hog. He doesn't provide any gold, I can show you here. Where you go? There. So it's expensive to build, and it has an upkeep of 25 foods and 4 brick every single time. It's a great way for you to run out of your food, for sure. Research completed, so we have a tax house now. And then we want to do... So that was... No, we don't have a tax house. I'm lying to you. Small temple. We're going to have to do that soon, too. That's also good to have. 35. Nah, I need to get into taxation as quickly as possible. Yep. More food. Don't like that. We're not doing well on food here. Let's build some more food. You can't just build another hunter. A hunter requires tools, and right now we don't have any tools left. So we kind of screwed on that. 95. That is not too good. 98. Oh, that is just not a good spot. Oh, here we go. Yeah? Okay, perfect. Let's do that. Now, let's start building our first... That's mining stuff, so that's good. Here we go. So this is going to be our first quarry. It will take 5 guys, but it will be the most efficient way of you getting stone early on. Yeah, those two are balancing. Yep, first enemy wave. October has nothing to do, again, has nothing to do with says low frequency. It isn't. Has nothing to do with that. It's just 15 barbarians this time. Okay. So, that means we're going to have to take people out of labor pool. Now, this one gets a little bit dicier. They're going to come from there. Now, if they have come from here, they would have to go through here, right? That's no question about that. Now, since they're coming from here, I really don't know if they're going to come... Should I be so bold and build it all the way here? Yeah, that would be really far away. That means that I'm going to have to, for this sake, I have to build here too. I mean, technically, I only have to... They're not really ever going to come from here. And I can always plug it up there. That would be an odd bottleneck. So this and that is where I can potentially get them from. Yeah, I'm not sure if I have time enough. That's a long walk for my builders. Right there. Now you might wonder, why am I just anchoring like that? Well, that's because I want to be able to shoot the entire length there, and I can always put the turret in the corner. And why those two? Those are platform for my archers, and then eventually for my Scorpios and Ballistas. Here we go. We are taking people out of the labor pool. Not happy about it. That's for sure. Now, you can disband them and go back to the labor pool. That is really an expensive way of doing it. Or you can have them around for stuff. Early on, you might, the first couple of times, just do that. Take them out, or like return them to the labor pool once they're done doing their job. That takes care of that. And I'm not entirely sure if I'm going to get that built. Honestly. Maybe I should have just built it closer. Kind of here or something. And then something here. Too late now. We're locked in. Still making good food. So that's good. Oh, I can now. Don't have to... so what we want to do is large storage, right? Yeah, let's go for large storage. You definitely want to start getting into the large storage because that's just the best way to get that. And I also need a large food storage too. Okay, so cabbage. Let's do a couple of cabbage because they don't take that many people. Let's start with one. Can I do that one? Actually, let's start with two. There you go. And then let's just build out some roads to get there quicker. Now the fastest way to just look how many rocks you have is just do this. Take your quarry out, and that should show rocks. Rock, 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 rock. So I have to clear out those areas in order to get to the rock. But that one is the closest right there. And what I can do then is hopefully strike up eventually a deal here where I will get... Yeah, see, they're asking for stuff that I can't give them. But eventually the wheel is going to turn and they're going to ask for something I can actually provide them, like rocks. So now I want to do Hospitius. So what that is a 2-long building that can take 10 people, but it does require brick, I think. So that's one of those things you have to think of too. So these guys... And then, again, just add. Something pretty for them to look at. Just add a little bit of happiness. Come on, make it happen. Now, these are going to be close by for when I start doing the mines, the iron mines. And those are key products for pretty much a lot of stuff. Oh, they're done. Excellent. Now, do we have one in the turret there? That's the most important. Archer. Yep, we do have one. Archer. Let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so we are going to move. How about just do that right one? We're going to get them up there. And how are we doing on trade? So now they're offering gold for stone. Perfect. That is exactly what we want to do. Stone I can always build up with another. So we want to do stone. And we want to do gold. And we are going to repeat this. And we are not going to be that bold. We want 15. That is not a bad exchange rate. So that's the only one I can do for now. But every 2.5 months, I'm going to have about 3. What do we want to do research on? Anything in city defense? Scorpions, maybe? Oh, that's too so expensive. How about we do that one for once? That just increases the damage and the range. Do I want to do that? I really need to get that warehouse done. Because the warehouse, even though they have an up the cost, right? I don't think they have any maintenance cost. Let me see. So it costs that much, and it can have, yeah, no maintenance costs. So that's perfect. That's why you want to buy as much storage. Yes, it costs up front to build them, but they don't have any maintenance cost. All you do is just store more. You definitely ever want to max out on your storage because you want to have that kind of extra. It is time to build a tax office. No question about that. I can't wait any longer. Where is the tax office? There we go, Treasury. I keep calling it tax office. Let's call it Treasury. There we go. So that's got to be an income then based on everything. I now have a small little trade going on. And so the barbarians are here. Here we go. Here are the barbarians. Of course, if they would ever go this way, then I am kind of screwed. So, maybe I should just start. Just for shits and giggles. Just start at least a turret there. A tower. I keep calling it turret. But it's tower, yeah. That dude is gonna go around. He is totally going around. Yeah, that can happen. Let's do this. Let's actually get that more. And maybe by the time he gets to my defenses, I will have some people. I'm not sure. But at least I can throw a couple at it. One barbarian, it's not gonna kill me. But if I had this turret here all this time, then I say turret, but it's tower. I'm being so dumb sometimes. Okay. Now these guys are gonna try to go around me. I really don't have any choice here. But next time I am gonna have to build out this a little bit more. And I'm definitely gonna have to put the tower over there. That tower's not gonna be done by in time, but you know, from next time. If you get the investments in now, by the time this happens again, it's gonna be built. Now, of course, if that one guy comes and attack from this side, he is probably gonna burn my... There we go. Have I lost a guy? Already? Yeah, it looks like it. Yeah, I lost a guy. So... time to bring it all back. Now the nice thing is that you can get weapons from these guys and they drop gold. You kill them, you get a little bit gold. I guess barbarians are good for something. Now I'm going to do something different this time. I'm actually going to dismantle. Since there is no experience involved in any of these guys, I have decided that I'm going to try this of disbanding and bring those guys back into labor pool. There we go. So we are disbanding you. I don't get the refund for it. And also... I'm gonna get you back too. And the reason is very simple. I just want more people as soon as possible. And we are gonna go to year 2. It's gotta be year 3 actually when the next attack comes. But it's weird how they happen, but it's the same all the time. So I brought all those back now. That goes directly into the labor pool again. And we are gonna get ourselves a tavern. Tavern. There we go. Tavern. And we're gonna get... Let's build that one here. Actually, let's see if we can get all of them by us building it here. Yes, there we go. There you go. And then we are gonna have to add also a Towns Guard. Now, that of course takes resources, but I think we're doing pretty good. Research done. Perfect. So let's go and get ourselves large storage this time. It is expensive, but it is useful. Oh, I'm low. Low. We can fix that. Brickwork. Always keep up with that. Always make sure that when you see things are going low, build whatever you need. Food storage is another one I want to do next. I don't want to build in a more small food storage. I really wish that if we could disband it, if you have an overage, if you have enough room in the other storage, that that storage goes there. But I think there's a bug in the system where it just kills it. It's kind of like when you have a ballista on top of a tower that you upgrade, the ballista is destroyed instead of just, put to the side and then built up again. They don't think about that, so be careful with what you upgrade before you put the ballista or a Scorpio on it, because if there's nothing there, that's fine, and then you can put it there later, but if there's something there, it's got to be gone. Oh, by the way, same things with your dudes. Remove your dudes off anything that you're building up, because they will crash and plummet and die. And that's unnecessary. So every 2.5 months now, roughly, I'm going to get a little bit of that. This ones I usually do clock from. I don't care about this one. I definitely don't care about that. That's just too far. They're uninterested. I suggest that they would adjust that to be more interesting stuff the further away they are. Because if you're just going to offer me stones all the way from Carthage, why would I do it? It takes almost 2 years. Or no, 3 months, sorry. 2 years. It takes almost 3 months for me to get anything there. Nothing useful. It's just a long trip where it's a chance that the pirates will take the stuff anyway. Things like that, it's easy to do. Doing these things are easy because right now I have 63 and I'm on parity. That's 100% productivity, so that's good. Soon enough, I'm going to have to set up my first temple, so I'm going to start right now researching that after large storage. Because I'm going to need it, and I don't want the guys to get mad at me first thing. Treasury. Done. We are gonna put them here. Where are they? So let's disable these for now. That will at least bring the guys back. You want to disable all those guys so you can have as many people in the work pool as possible. This is the first time, by the way, that I disbanded all my soldiers. But again, knowing that the system attacks you on a yearly basis or 1.5 yearly basis, whatever that case is, that means that it's unnecessary to have those hanging around. There's no randomness to it. Once there's randomness, yeah, then you can start thinking about it. I will also do a forester as well soon. So what a forester do is that it will plant in an area. And the nice thing with having a forester fairly close is that it's less shorter trip for that to put it in the so for example, if you have a forester right here, is a lesser trip for anyone to go and pick up all those trees. And it pays for itself eventually. Because as soon as you clear out this area, they're going to have to travel really far to get all the trees. So being able to first pick that means that you get your inventory a little bit fuller quicker. Okay, so we now have... Yep. Still 12. Okay, so now we can do taxes. Soon. But we are straining our food supply a little bit because he's going to take 25 plus 4 bricks. So we are getting a little bit waiting for those to be built before I'm going to put up 2 more houses. So hopefully I'm not going to run short here. I could just do these guys too. I could. Let's do. Let's just do that. As much as I want to. I just want to make sure that I have enough houses. Okay, taxes. I am now getting taxes. Yep. There we go. Tax collector. Perfect. Now, once you unleash all the builders, that's good enough when you start having enough overage in your story. Because as you build more, they're going to start. So we want to do kiln efficiency here. That will increase the amount of brick you get per building. That's very important. It's relatively cheap too. And then temple. And then after that, we're going to do the food storage as well. Because I think I'm tapping out on the food storage. So let's go ahead and get ourselves a warehouse. So warehouse can go. How much is the building here? I want to make sure that I... 94. Okay. 97. I can't even count. So warehouse. Because I'm tapping out on some... Oh, I'm going down on... That's okay. I'm still making more brick. It's not like you use clay for any resource anywhere else. It's just for brick making. There we go. And now we have that. Town guard. Let's put you here. And now we have town guards. We are now making 10 in production. I don't really know how to count this. If it would be 3 for these buildings that have occupants in it, and 1 for these buildings. I don't know what the formula is. I have tried to figure it out. Something to do with the fact of your happiness, so I should be 112%. That should also affecting somehow your goal that you're collecting, but I don't know how. I just can't figure it out. So there's a problem there. But technically, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1% tax rate. So 10 here means that the effect is 12% addition for that. I just don't know. It's really hard. It doesn't break it down as far as I understand it. I can't just go into the tax building and see if it breaks down. No, there's nothing. There's no stats I can pull here. Yeah. Don't know. At least people are happy. That's the most important. 10 still. I don't think there's anyone in here yet. Yeah, so it's just when they occupy the building. So again, I don't even know if it has anything to do with yeah, I don't know. I tried to. I used a spreadsheet the other day and I tried to figure out exactly how this works. Venus! And I'm still researching. She's gonna get mad at me because I should just done this stupid temple first. I'm gonna have to waste some food to make her happy. Don't I? And I stole 31 gold. Yeah, even though I had Town's Guards, by the way, I don't know how that works and why and when, but it just happens. Let's do that. Let's have a little party and offer some food at her. Then maybe by the time they decide to attack, I actually have something over here. Let's go ahead and anchor. Walls don't have any upkeep, but towers do. So I don't want to get too drastic here. Poor in happiness. Well, that's a drop. Need to get that. Oh. Let's research. Small temple. And now we're definitely going to do sheep farming. And we definitely should do fishing too, since we have some income now. Enhanced migration. That's what Venus does. And she is happy right now because I offered her a little party. Now I'm gonna try to get her temple too. It looks like they want another warehouse. Again, let's do as many warehouses as we want. They only cost up front, no maintenance. Okay, temple done. So what are we researching now? I said sheep farming. Yeah. Let's do that. And you see, there's a big chunk of gold that just went up. That is the price. Yes, I'm 16 in production, consumption's 2, and that was for those 2 kilns. That's just gonna increase. That's the difficulty here. So you're gonna need another trade, at least. So they want me to build more wall, build a gate, and upgrade an arch tower. Yeah, okay. 30 and cloth is okay, but I'm not going to upgrade yet to require cloth. What did I want to do? I wanted to do a temple. And it's for Venus. Okay, Venus, you're going to get your temple. I'm going to put you on... Where are the roads? There's the roads. And here's the roads. I'm going to put you next to the treasury. How about that? You can overlook my fortunes dwindling. There we go. She's still at 71, so hopefully she will be happy long enough for me to build that. Oh, I had food storage this whole time. I am being such a derp. Okay, what can we do here? Iron mining, for sure. Let's do that. Then aqueducts is probably a good idea too. To start getting the aqueducts in here. That makes people happy. Okay, so large food stores then. I already had that. That is derp of me. Start with 1. Don't have to go overboard. It takes a lot of resources. Oh yeah, look at that. How much I'm dropping. And that's because I did the research of the iron mine. Have to be careful. Don't ever want to go down to 0. How much is the sheep farm? Sheep farm, sheep. Well, at least it's not food. I'll take it. That's like 50 meats a month. And we are now almost at 90. And we got ourselves that. I don't know what coverage points 80 means, to be honest. Favorite game for current population number 95. So that's good. Okay. Food storage. And we have a plague. That's not good. I did not exactly want a plague. That's a little bit too early for that, but that means I'm going to lose people. There's no point building more buildings because there are going to be people that die. Well, maybe I should just build at least. How's the coverage of that? What's the coverage for my taverns? So that covers that. That would be like over here maybe? Okay, whatever. Iron mine soon done. Yeah, that's what I was afraid of. Year 2, I get attacked by a freaking dragon. Can you imagine that? It's ridiculous. It's a dragon. Year 3. It's got to be on year 3 that it attacks. So that means I'm going to have to get up. I'm going to have to get up some turrets here to cover it, which is fine. That's... But come on, man. Yeah. And the only thing I'm going to do here is archers. A bunch of archers. Let's do that. Maybe I need to do that one next. Yep. Let's do a scorpion then. Not exactly what I wanted. Oh, that is so expensive too, isn't it? I can barely do it. I don't want to do this. Okay, let's just do that instead. So irresponsible. Maybe I should pick the other one that helps against diseases. But I need people. The disease have already happened. Oh, Sir died. That is amazing. That is the best news ever. I don't think I've ever had a case where no one died from the plague. Persistence, baby. Okay, so sharp stone will cost me stone and wood. I can do that. Now, as soon as you have Scorpius and Ballistas, the Dragons goes down pretty quick. They don't have that much hit point. I think the hit points also have something to do with what difficulty you're playing on. Since this is easy, it should be around 700. Let's just get started with iron, since I have an iron mine. I also need to figure out what else to do. That is the question. I'm low on a lot of stuff, so you have to be careful what you research because some of them can be really expensive. And you end yourself up shooting yourself in the foot. So that's a lot of gold and food. Iron tip. Anything here that I can get more out of? Aqueducts. It's not too bad. I really want the Scorpio, don't I? I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. Oh, this is so dumb. So expensive. I'm not gonna have it in time though. But it's... If I get it now, then maybe next time when stuff happens. Here it comes. Right there. Now you can order these guys When it gets a little bit closer to just attack it. I don't want to do it now. They're just going to run into the woods and then start chasing him. The dragon is pretty fast. There we go. Now it's going to toast some stuff. Well, at least he goes after the turret. How are you, guy? Yep, you have the right. Yep, 700 hit points. Oh, he's going after... No, not my tax office. Okay, still going after that. Good. If you want to toast my turret, I'm okay with that. I don't want to lose my turret. But at least it's not like housing. Oh, man. I got lucky. Because he... Oh, it broke in the very last second. Oh, that is awesome. And then you get some food, too. And some hides. Or cloth. And there we go. There we go. This is the first couple of years. I got a little bit lucky with the other attack. But lucky in the sense that it just went after a turret. Many times it goes after your housing and things like that. Or even your storage. These tiny little storage just breaks right away. Which means you lose everything that's in them. And that kind of sucks. But it went after a turret. That's kind of like the best case scenario ever. Let's disable that. Yeah. And let's disband these guys. And there you go. This is the initial setup of a settlement that is net positive on gold. The difficulty now becomes, how do you keep that up? Well, obviously happiness, you want to have it over 62 to be 100% and not get a negative there. You want to find a better trade. The difficulty comes when trying to get to 500, you're going to have a gold deficit. I don't know how you're going to do that. Sorry to say, there's just some kind of imbalance. But what I notice is that the next thing you want to do in order to get a decent chunk of gold is... can I show that? No, I can't. I'm doing the Scorpio. There's something called a large something of this. So like a large hospedium. The large hospedium takes up a decent amount of real estate. It does. It's a 2x2, right? But it can hold 20. So again, it's 5 per little square. But it also gives you, I think it is 7 gold. I keep calling it gold, and I'm gonna keep calling it. It's cisterni or whatever it happen to be. The Roman kind of coin, but I will call it gold. So that's 7. That means that when you start building those, yes, it has a higher resource rate, but it's usually brick, I think, is one of them. Which, if you keep up on brick, in this case, right now, I have 50 extra, roughly, 45 extra, roughly, in bricks. So my burn rate is not too bad right now, and I can always build more bricks and add another kiln and more efficiency. So that's the easy stuff. And as far as getting, now I'm doing iron, which is really good, because next thing then I want to start doing tools and weapons. And then of course I can always do more rocks. And then you can start getting into the upgrading into better machinery for the rocks, but then the burn rate of gold happens. So now research is gonna start sucking down your gold really quick. And that's where you go into a wall. And the difficulty here, this was year 2 technically. So 3 years in, right? And the next wave is going to be twice as much. There can be a baby Hydra, or they can be twice as many barbarians. So you're looking at probably, I don't know, 15 berserkers, which is kind of 2 sized to barbarians, or it can be 30. Or, well, this is, next wave should be tripled. So the first wave is 15, the second is 30, then it becomes 60. So that should be 60 barbarians roughly. Or something like 20 whatever berserkers or a baby hydra. So every single year after that is going to be more and more difficult. The problem you run into is that you have this barrier. You have to get stuff out. You have to get this entire defense across here, here, and here. It just have to happen. By year 4, 5, 6, if you don't have that, you're just going to have such an enormous horde that's just going to punch through. And you're going to have Scorpios, possibly Ballistas, and you're going to have more defenders. You're going to have to go over to brick, etc., etc., etc. But that also requires research. And the research requirements are usually gold. So you see what I'm saying here? I'm down to 87 in gold. That's 87 in gold. I can increase tax rates, but that lowers the happiness. And when it lowers the happiness, you get punished for losing taxes and also productivity. And that's just the game as it is. Plus, you want to have extra gold and extra food, because sometimes when your please the gods dips, it is because they want another temple. And you might not be able to afford to have another temple, because the upkeep on each temple, like in this case, is 3 gold, 7 stones, and 3 bricks. Doesn't sound much, but if they want another temple, that means that of 4 gods, you're going to have to double it up to 8 temples just to make them happy enough. And sometimes they want a party too. And parties get more expensive. The party I ran for Venus here didn't cost that much in food. But that's nothing. It just gets more expensive. It's just the way it is. I don't know. It has something to do with your population size, or the fact that they're not pleased with a little party costing whatever little piddle in gold. Now all of a sudden they want 200-300. So that's what you have to keep in mind. So even though you can be gold positive the first couple of years, the deficit increases. And trust me, when I say this, at year 12, when I'm having operating a huge city, I cannot close the deficit gap. I started building luxury houses. I started doing the large hospitiums. Started doing everything like that. But you see, everything I put down to increase happiness and to alleviate and do that stuff has a burn rate of gold, pretty large. Then the only place you can get gold trade from right now is Rome, as far as I've seen. And it's a 2.5 months trip, and sometimes the pirates will take your stuff. That means you lost all that stuff. You give them stuff, but your things are lost. Your gold that you were going to receive is lost. That means you are screwed. So it's not that you can't trade. You can certainly trade. You can build up so you can trade for, say, however much they can offer. Let's say they can offer 300 in gold. Sure, you could trade for that. That means roughly about 300 or something of whatever given material. And if you're building, say, 300 stones, if you have stone quarries, oh gosh, you get about 30 each, I think. So yeah, roughly. And then of course you can improve it with tools. And maybe you have Jupiter too, and he increases production a little bit, then everybody's super happy and increases production a little bit. Yeah, let's say you get 30 to 35 each month. You need 10 of that just to satisfy a large purchase that brings you in a lot of gold over Maritimes. I had a 500 gold deficit in a city with 500 people. And I was building and adding down. I had so much stuff down to make them as happy as possible. It was just difficult. And I'm not saying it's impossible. I claim that we're going to need to rebalance, and I still believe so. Because I believe that anything that is highly refined products that you need, that should also require people to pay gold for it. Tavern should bring you some gold. Bakeries, butcheries, arenas should bring you some gold. Just set up a statistics on how many go visit, and then give a percentage in gold for that. You should be able to build something that's self-sustainable. I don't believe Rome existed just on trade alone. I know trade was a huge part of it, but it also have to have internalism kind of mechanism to make gold. And of course, gold mines. Gold mines have to happen. It has to be, I don't care if it's set in the middle or you can only have so many, like 2, 3. Something like a gold mine to provide you that. But right now, you can certainly get net neutral when it comes to gold. I don't think that's a claim I ever made. I just think that in the long run, it's very difficult, extremely difficult to get that perfect balance given the fact that you're being attacked every single year. And the attacks are going to be worse, and you're going to end up like I just finished off playing one where it's year 7 and 8. I have 2 major hydras in a row, and all I had at that point was these wooden ones. So what I ended up doing was first a wooden wall that I can punch through, and then the other one that I just put a smatter of Scorpios. So many Scorpios, but that means that's a burn rate of resources just for having that. And that's just not sustainable. But you have to. A large Hydra has 140,000 hit points. And you saw how much I had to hit that dragon with just 700 hit points? 3,500 hit points for a small Hydra. And it will chew through your wood or your stone like nothing. So having that second barrier that it can just chew on. But I hate to be cheesy, but as soon as it breaks one of them, you build one, you lose 5 in wood, but it can't get through. It has to punch a hole through it. So if you have a second barrier that I just chew on, hopefully you can shoot it to pieces while you're just wasting a bunch of wood rebuilding it. So it can knock them down real quick, but it's just 5 wood each time you rebuild it, and it considered as a barrier, so they have to knock it down. That's cheese. Yes, devs, don't fix that, because you're the one that set us up with this nonsensical, ever-increasing raids every single year. So that's the only cheese I can offer. Build a barrier in front of it of just wood, because don't waste stuff on brick. And then just eat the 5 timber every time it knocks it down. Build it up right away. Don't let it destroy too much, because then it's just going to walk over it. And then you have the second barrier with some Scorpios and whatnot, just hammering it to pieces until you're so far advanced that you have all brick, tons of ballistas and whatnot that can withstand its attacks. You can still have a wooden barrier just to stop it long enough. But if you have that and then sharp arrows on it, you can knock down a Hydra just fine. Only problem is at that stage, you're also attacked by more than one. So I had one where there was like 8 dragons and 1 Hydra. But, you do what you can. I survived. Largely because I cheated in gold. The one thing that you don't have enough on late game. So if the devs would see this and adjust a little bit so we can actually get a recent amount of gold, because all of this is available. You can always build it up. You can always scale up these things. Bricks, clay, stone, as long as you have enough quarries, and food is just scalable. It's just a matter of adding more resources. You can't with this because that has to do with housing, which has to do with how many people arrive and set up shop and how happy they are. And if you have trade. Trade is just not the solution, because it's going to eat up so many resources in order for you to fill that gap with trade income. It's very simple. 2.5 months. You're going to have to divide each month in order to maybe get it. It's a small chance that it will not go through, but if it goes through, cool. So it's going to take that long for it to arrive to you, that money. So if you want to have 50 gold, let's say you have a trade deficit or a deficit of about 50, and you just want to fill that up with a trade, you're going to have to use 150 of your material to get about roughly about 150 gold. Because that's going to be about 50. And hope and pray that it goes through, that it arrives on after 2.5 months and not just gets pirated. Because that you're going to lose all that. So meanwhile, you're going to have to figure out how to tax people and get enough housing down. Because you don't get any tax money unless there's people in the houses. Because it looks like the tax is based on houses, not the people in it. As far as I can see. So, but enough chit chat about that. There you go. That's the start. Year 3. You're still net positive on all the different things. You just keep on making sure that you look here, that everything is going positive. And as soon as you see there's a chance for negativity, then you address it as quickly as possible. And always turn off all your turrets and all that. That's just people standing there doing nothing. You don't need it until someone attacks. It's just that's unnecessary use of labor. Getting rid of your soldiers and whatnot every single time, I'm not sure. Maybe the first couple of 3 years. Then afterwards, you probably sink a lot of money and whatnot into just building up a larger force. So just having them already might be a good idea. Anywho, you have a terrific day. I hope the weekend coming is fantastic. I know it's weird times, but I still hope that you're going to have all the good things happen to you. And as I have told you before, and adieu until we meet again.